So what should we expect for the 2023 housing market here in Southern California, and more specifically San Diego? I'll break it down, what the experts are saying, and I'll even give you my take at the end of the video, so stay tuned. San Diego's housing market has now dropped 5 months in a row, according to Redfin's housing market prediction report. It also says West Coast markets will feel the brunt of a downturn in housing markets in 2023. Redfin's lengthy housing analysis of the coming year says West Coast markets and metros that experienced the biggest gains during the pandemic will slow the most. It selected the markets by looking at data points from February to November that showed like price declines, inventory drops, number of homes for sale, and many other factors. I actually did a video on this topic not too long ago, and you can find it right here above here, and it'll take you right to it. Now, I know what you're thinking, where does San Diego come in on Redfin's cooling list of 2023? San Diego metropolitan area was ranked number 9 in this list of markets expected to cool the most. I actually thought we may have been a little bit higher on this list, as I have shown in past videos that some neighborhoods in San Diego have dipped 15% already or more in some of the most popular San Diego neighborhoods like Carmel Valley and Del Sur. It goes on to say that the areas that will drop the most will be places like Seattle, San Jose, Las Vegas, and Salt Lake City. San Diego metro home prices are still up 9.5% year over year, but in June they were up 20%. So you can see we've already had a little bit decline here already. San Diego metro home prices are still up 9.5% year over year, but in June they were up over 20%. Unfortunately, Redfin stopped short of predicting how much prices may dip in the metro areas, instead of relying on recent trends to forecast what markets might cool the most. As of October, San Diego County home prices had dropped 5 straight months. Redfin did say nationwide prices should fall about 3% by end of the year. I actually expect San Diego and a lot of the West Coast cities to be a bit higher than that, but we shall see how it goes out in 2023. Redfin also goes on to say that rental prices should dip in 2023 due to the vacancy rates rising. And cities located in the Midwest and Northeast that didn't jump in on the pandemic boom, like Chicago, Philadelphia, and Albany, may not feel the price crunch quite as much as our West Coast brethren out here. So what do I think will happen with the 2023 housing market? Well, you may want to buckle up for this one, because we're in for a rough ride.
In for a rough ride, Jack.
Let me just start by saying I hate prediction videos. If I knew exactly how the housing market was going to play out in 23, I'd have a lot more subscribers than I do right now. But what the heck, I'll give it a shot. An amazing 41% of Americans think that the housing market is going to crash in the next 12 months, according to a survey conducted by LendingTree.com. Even more surprising to me is 74% of those people think it will be as bad or worse than the 2008 housing market collapse. With so many people expecting it to crash, does that make it inevitable? And don't get me wrong, the 2008 housing crash was bad. I mean, really bad. People lost their homes, filed for bankruptcy, lost their life savings. I don't wish that upon anyone, and I hope we never see it again. But I've been doing a ton of reading on this topic and looking at graphs and trends and comparing this market to the market of 2008. So back in 2018, when rates went from 4 to 5%, everyone expected prices to drop or crash, although it didn't. It also didn't crash after the initial COVID lockdowns were put in place back in 2020. There was a little lull there for 2 to 3 months, but then the housing market skyrocketed after that. Now, once again, with mortgage rates nearly doubling in 6 months, home values on the decline, and recession around the corner, many Americans believe a housing market crash is just a matter of time. Like I said, I really don't know exactly what will play out in 23, but we can certainly look at the past to help us predict the future. There are a few reasons why, based on current market conditions, that we should be able to avoid a housing market crash, and I'm going to break it down for you right here. Number one, there are simply not enough available homes to purchase. Simply put, when inventory builds, it takes a lot longer for homes to sell. When unsold inventory rises above 200 days, negotiations go strongly in favor of the buyers, and the home values, in turn, will drop. So for example, in Los Angeles County, the unsold inventory reached a peak in July of this year at 93 days. The peak for 2021 was 54 days, which is much faster than today. I also like to compare the 3-year average before COVID, as many would say that was kind of more of a normal housing market than the previous 2 years. So the 3-year average before COVID was 123 days, which is a bit slower than today. Let's also compare the number of available homes today in San Diego compared to 2007. In 2007, we had over 27,000 homes on the market. Today, we have 4,145. The huge amount of inventory we had on the market was a big reason for the housing market crash. Sure, our inventory will probably increase in 23, but it has a long way to go to reach 2007 numbers. Number two, as I mentioned before, home prices have dropped here in San Diego, even with low inventory. A big reason for the low inventory are people just don't want to sell their homes. Homeowners just want to hold on to their 3% interest rate, and my guess is people will stay in their homes a little bit longer in coming years. Sure, I'd like a bigger yard for my kids to play in around, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to sell this one where I got a good price and a good interest rate, and I think a lot of other people feel the same way. There's also an extreme lack of what people call panic selling that you would normally see in like a stock market type environment. There's also a lack of have to sell type sellers out there right now. During the Great Recession, 10% of all mortgages were delinquent. Today's national delinquency rate is at the lowest levels in decades. In fact, there are only 17 foreclosures or short sales to purchase currently in all of San Diego County. Prior to COVID, there were 43, and in 2012, which was the end of the Great Recession, there were 1,558. So even with the mortgage rates doubling and values decreasing, the housing market seems to be able to avoid a large housing crash in the foreseeable future. Today's housing market has been built around strong foundation, around tight lending standards due to the financing laws, strong credit scores, and large down payments. We sold close to 40 homes this year, and nearly all of them had a down payment of at least 20%. With all that said, could prices drop a bit more in 23? Sure, of course they could. But based on the numbers, things would have to get a lot worse really quickly to reach crash status. I guess that anything is possible in 2023. I'm sure I'll hear it in the comments on this one. Comments like, he's a realtor, he just wants everyone to sell houses, and donuts suck. Anyway, thanks for watching, and catch us next time. Bye.